Hmm. Hello, Joe. How you doing, Bob?
Joe, I think I can say hello to you.
Hello,
I'm live. Joe?
Joseph. Right. Hi.
Yeah, it's Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. And I see Louis. Louis, how's the weather?
Oh, great. We've had rain for 4 days, 4 different days, which is good.
Send some to California.
I don't know. I'm beginning to like this rain here once a day.
Oh,
We had a bunch
It's
of
not-
rain. We had a bunch of rain a couple days ago with thunderstorms and lightning. Remember that lady got killed walking her dogs in Pico Rivera.
yeah.
They were nasty stuff. And they had hailstorms and everything else.
Bob, is my sound coming over okay?
I think so. It sounds okay to me.
Okay.
Somebody else is
I've
kind of
been-
garbled.
Yeah, I've been having some problems with my audio.
Uh-oh. You have a feedback, Joyce. You have more than one speaker in your room?
I do.
Okay, well, you have to shut the other one off.
Let me turn off all my other computer. I've got 3 computers next to each other.
Yeah, you don't want more than one speaker. Otherwise, you got to wear headphones.
You know, I do have headphones.
You don't have to do it. It's
Oh,
all righty.
well, let me turn everything else off and I'll work on
As
the
long as you
headphones later.
silence mute the other computers, so you only have one set of sound coming. Because if it's more than one, that's going to have the problems.
Okay.
Well, let's see. I don't know who's got to show up today, but we can we can try to get started. Some of the things we had this week were rather interesting. I'll go back to Father's Day. There was a lot of things going on Father's Day. We had a nice brunch and entertainment here at the village, but I had my own story to tell, and I'm going to cover it a little bit later into the program. But my daughter took me off to a concert, and the concert was put on by the Angel City Choir. And let me show you a picture of the Angel City Choir. This is what impresses me so much. The Angel City Choir is a pretty good sized choir. And let me show you. It's 180 people and plus an orchestra in the front. And this was the concert was put on at UCLA Royce Hall, which is a very big hall and very old, and it has wonderful acoustics. And that's going to be their home venue for now, and so on. But I'll get into the details. But it puts our little Walnut Corral to shame. But we'll get you in corral mood because next Saturday, our corral is going to give a concert. So we should get ready for that. Anyone else have some stories to tell about what you did on Father's Day?
It's only 3:30 right now.
No more stories, huh?
It's Peggy Kessler. It's Louie. Joyce Kessler.
Bob, we went up to visit our son and he fixed a nice lunch for us and spent the afternoon with him and had a great time together.
What do we do?
You had your daughter back here, daughter, you had, we ordered pizza. Tell him that.
Okay. Well, it is a nice time to get together, and I'm not sure if how things worked out at the village. I understand the bluegrass, the Lilies of the West showed up, but they were sort of understaffed a little bit. I guess they had other commitments.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a full complement of their
Complement.
talent. So, okay. Let's see. The other thing that was interesting, I don't know if you guys attended, the California Access Telephone Program. It's a program where the
You want to drink?
program, what's that?
Do whatever you do.
Telephones are provided to,
Sure.
yeah, I gotta put him, okay. Telephones are provided to people, I don't know, maybe you have to be a senior, I'm not sure. But mostly for the disabled and hard of hearing and things like that. And they try to, and we're paying taxes for them. And Judy said a lot of different resources available if you step up for them. So anyone have anything to report on that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
My husband was hard of hearing, and we went down to the location in Santa Ana and actually tested out several different instruments. And he ended up getting the one that has the iPad as the display screen. And when someone would call him, it would then show what they
Show the words,
said.
yeah.
There was a delay, but it really helped. And if someone was giving a phone number or an amount, he could actually see the numbers. And there was no charge at all.
Right. Yeah, that's
So
those are very handy.
now when I got it for my husband, I wanted one for myself, but I wanted it to be able to do a cell phone, wireless. And at that time they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Judy says they do now.
Yeah, I believe they do. Yeah. Okay. The other thing that was on the calendar I missed was the Who Am I session last night that Elizabeth Ogle did. And I understand it was outstanding performance, standing room only kind of place. And it was well done. I missed it because I was attending a graduation party for my granddaughter who finished high school. And let me show you a picture. I have to show you this picture because this is a picture of my great-grandson, who I had a chance to hook up with and spend some time with. Where'd it go? There it is. He's about 8-9 months old now. So, and that's my son on that. So he was bouncing on my knee, and we had a lot of fun. But it was unfortunately I couldn't be there and listen to the presentation by Elizabeth. But I understand she set a rather high bar for the next few people to perform, and but I guess it got a lot of people interested. And I heard that a lot of folks signed up, so we'll have a rather good queue for future Who Am I's maybe on a monthly basis or whatever it's planned. I'm not sure. So, did any of you guys attend?
Yes,
Yes.
It was packed. It was
It
packed.
was nice.
it's very good.
Okay, you guys ready to do the same thing now?
No, thank you.
I'm sure you guys got good stories to tell. So we should even get Louis up here and have him tell us.
Hey, just let me know when.
Okay, we see Debbie's on board here, so we're just talking about what's happened this week already. And one of the things that popped up was the regroup messaging system. I finally got on it, and I was surprised when I saw a message that we had more COVID cases here in the village, but they were all the employees. They weren't residents. So I guess we're doing good, but we need to, figure out what's going on with the employees. And I guess one of them was involved with the summer house. So now they got to test the summer house coming up next week. I guess it's going to be on a Wednesday, testing the summer house and the resident staff. And I saw that in the memo today, and I almost misread it that all residents were going to be tested. That's not correct. I think it's just the summer house residents.
It's just a mass. So just recently, about I guess last month, Department of Social Services and California Department of Public Health updated the testing guidance so that it could be contact tracing. So in the kitchen, I have 5 people, 3 dishwashers who tested positive. And again, it's that old, you wear your mask, but if it's like this, you're still letting COVID enter through your nostrils. So it's really important to wear your mask correctly. And that's how quickly it can spread. So 5 in the kitchen. And so poor Kim, obviously they're all helping each other and taking on additional duties to make sure that all the tasks are being completed, but we want to keep everyone safe. And so everyone in the dining room and kitchen has been tested, and they'll be tested again subsequently if they develop any symptoms whatsoever. They've been instructed to stay home immediately. So the new testing guidance is if you've been exposed to someone with COVID, we test you after two days after exposure and then 5 days after exposure. If you remain asymptomatic, then you're cleared. And because the one caregiver whose husband had COVID and she subsequently developed COVID as well, they have a caregiver has direct contact with residents. And so we do need to test all of them, the staff and the residents in summer house. But because she didn't cross over into assisted living, it meant that you guys didn't have to be tested, which was good.
But they're not testing the whole kitchen now, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They've had exposure. So exposure is 15 minutes within any 24-hour period. And so, clearly working an 8-hour shift together, you've had some exposure.
Well, no. And it's going to make it tough with the shortages already. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's, I don't know what to say other than we can try to keep our noses clean.
Try keep your noses covered. Yeah.
Any other news or announcements, Debbie? I didn't really see a lot happening this coming week.
Let's see anything. Mark your calendars for an evacuation drill that it's voluntary evacuation drill, August 24th. I'll send out another survey. Sorry. To anyone who wants to participate, I think it's a great opportunity to kind of go through an evacuation with the staff and some folks from the earthquake committee. We've got a good plan, and it's just really kind of following those instructions and getting to the appropriate assembly point using the stairs if you're able. For some folks, we'll probably practice with at least one resident and going down on an EvacuScape, the evacuation chair, so that everyone feels confident that we're able to do it safely. I think ultimately, the more you do things, the more you build your muscle memory, so that when if there is ever an event where we have to evacuate quickly, everyone feels confident. They won't panic. You know where your route is to get out of the building. So August 24th for our voluntary evacuation drill with residents and staff. Residents with pets, we do need some updated vaccination records. So if you've got pets, please make sure you've got up-to-date vaccination status. You turn that into me or Ernest. The fountain survey, we're getting close to the end. It's June 30th is the deadline, and we will be announcing at Town Hall which one won. Town Hall will be on July 15th. Dining update. This is big, I think. So, you know, I know that there was an optional services where the cost for guest meals went up to $6.30 as of November 2021. I think because we were still in the midst of COVID, nobody was having guests come. And then for Mother's Day, we had some folks who got a little sticker shock saying that they didn't know. And then of course we did the updated optional services May 15th, and that did have guest meal points of 6 points, $30 for special occasions. Got a lot of pushback on that, a lot. And poor Kim, you know, kind of took the brunt of that. We were able to get approved to go back to 5 points for guests for special occasions for $25. So when you think about, you're getting a salad, an entree with a lot of different options, a dessert, wine or beer. You're not paying tip or tax. I think that's a pretty fair deal. So I'm hoping everyone's going to be happy with that. And then other than that, we have a new couple who moved into 325, Alan and Carol Herzog. Say hello to them. And then of course save the dates. We've got 4th of July coming up soon. Thoroughbred horse racing at Los Alamitos on July 8th. And of course the Walnut Village chimes and chorale performances. That's about it.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. Oh,
Don't go
Don.
away.
Okay, Don, you got a question?
Yes, before Debbie goes away, the CDC has recommended that adults 65 and older get a second booster flu shot. And I wonder if we're going to be included in that program.
So we had the second booster. I know when I first got here, when did we have it? Like the end of April or beginning of May. And then we're going to have a flu clinic, and I believe the date is September 19th. Don't quote me on that. So we'll have a Rite Aid pharmacy come and provide flu shots. And then I'll ask Pam, she's off today, but a lot of times they'll also offer the pneumonia vaccine as well at that time. So we can find out exactly who wants the flu and who wants flu and pneumonia.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All righty. Well, since you mentioned corral, I was just going to give you a little sample of, what did I do with it? Let's see. Well, here it goes. We got a little sample of corral. So, so we'll just show you, if you haven't seen the chorale concert before, here's a sample way back in 2016.
That's before I got.
Yeah, and that was way back then. We could see a lot of folks that aren't here anymore on that tape. It's a shame. They were
Lot
all
of
good
old
singers.
friends. Old friends, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of old friends no longer here. So anyhow, sign up, whatever, and I guess you can bring visitors to that too. I was going to try to get my daughter to come to that, but she's busy taking her friends to Disneyland, so it's okay. Let's see. Does any other people, anyone else have some stories to tell or discussions you want to bring up? Otherwise, I'm going to go into a subject that I've been asked to talk about, and on the stock market and inflation and a few other things. It gets kind of a little bit technical, but it's a topic of the day that a lot of people are interested in. But I'll pass the mic on to anyone else who wants to talk about something first. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Well, I don't know if a lot of people that may not know, but I was involved in a stock market group here before COVID, and we talked about the market about every week, or I can't remember, maybe every month, I guess it was. And we went into all the different ways things are performing and ideas on how to make some money in the market, and a lot of different technical stuff. And here's a kind of chart that I would usually show. This is a 3-year chart of weekly data, price versus time, and using candlesticks, which shows you the range of prices during a given day. In this case, it's a different week, and it shows the high and the low, and then where it began and where it began or opened or when it closed, which is the size of the candle, and the wicks of the candle is the highs and lows. And it shows since we had COVID come in, we had a big drop in the market. But other than that, before then, the market was just sort of going up and up and up and up. And then we had this big dip because of the shutdown and impact on the economy, which impacted the stock market, and so forth. And so the powers to be says, well, let's go up and try to get everything back up. So they do all the stimulus stuff, which pushed things back up. In fact, it was a very rapid rise back up to these average trend lines. And then we just had a little bit of a dip, and then we were within 6 months, we were back where we were. And then from then we kept on rising and up until this year. And the peak was right around January. And since then, the market's not doing well. And we'll get into why some of that is. It wasn't exactly all because we have a war in the Ukraine and everything else. There's a lot of other things that happened, and we'll try to cover that. So here's the S&P, which is a general basket of 500 stocks, and we look at the average, and that sort of covers the overall stock market. Now, the NASDAQ is this is the 100 stocks in the NASDAQ, which represents a lot of the high performers and technical, but that went through the same pattern. But if we actually measured it closely, we would see that it went up actually faster. It went a little bit down faster, went up faster, and it's going down faster. The bottom here shows you the volume of activities, which sort of shows you if it was just sort of nothing happening, or there was a lot of trading going on, which means people are churning the market. And this is called the RSI, Relative Strength Indicator, and it shows you when it gets above the 70 level, it means it's not going to go up very much further. It's a time to really start thinking about selling or holding on your position. But when it goes down to this bottom level around 30, this is a time, if you get some extra money, you might think about putting it in, because this is a good time to buy. And you can see it corresponds to where the low points are. So you look at this as an indicator for, it's not exactly a buy and sell signal, but it shows you overbought and oversold conditions. Whoops, I'm going backwards now. Come on. I've missed the Dow somehow. Oh, there's the Dow. Notice the Dow, same general pattern, but it doesn't go up and down as fast. Of course, this is the industrials, only 30 stocks average, and it shows you some of the most popular and common stocks, but doesn't have the same performance. And but again, it topped out in January, and it's coming down also. Okay, let's go to so now this one is the same time scales. It's 3 years, showing here when we had the big dip in COVID, but starting just a few months ahead of time in 2020. This is the relative performance. So this is in percentage, okay? And the red line, which is the top line, is the NASDAQ. The purple line is the S&P. The green line is the Dow, and the blue line is the complete New York Stock Exchange. And notice how, even though they went down, they recovered, and the larger exchanges only got up to 20% above where they were starting in 2020. The S&P actually got up to some 40%, and it sort of got, since then, in that high in December or whatever, just before 2020, or around the first year, it's gone down from, so let's say, 45% down to the 20s or something. So it's lost about half of its growth. The NASDAQ got all the way up to 76% or so, and it's gone down to about the same level. So it went up more and it came down more. So that's part of the reason where some people like to, if they speculative, they like to get into the NASDAQ, because you make money faster, but you can lose it faster too. Now, here's an interesting way of determining if you're in a bull or bear market based upon comparing the NASDAQ 100, which is represented by the QQQ symbols, which is an ETF. And if that's going up, also with the S&P 500, then you're probably in a bullish market. It performs better on a relative basis during a bullish market, while the S&P performs better during a bearish cycle. And now here we have this is the ratio of one to the other, and then this is the actually S&P. So when the ratio is increasing, you're in a bullish sign. When a ratio decreases, you're in a bearish sign. And even though the S&P shows the market slightly increasing, notice how this started giving a telltale about a month ahead of time before the S&P turned around. Now when the ratio goes down like it has, you can see the market is already in a downturn. Now the ratio since June or so forth has started coming back up. Now that's not really to say, back up. It's not to say that the bull market is over, I mean, the bear market is over or whatever. It's just a little too early to say. So I wanted to go into some other ideas about what's affecting the bull and bear market. Now, and of course, we're talking about inflation and interest rates and stimulus and everything else. And this goes into how the Federal Reserve impacts the market. When the Fed is buying treasury bonds, that's called quantitative easing, because when it buys the bonds, it takes that money and puts it into circulation.
I checked it and opened it myself. So it's just a second now.
Okay. All righty. So when it's buying these bonds, it buys the bonds, which makes the prices go up, and the cash that they use to buy the bonds goes into the banking system and the money supply, and that sort of creates, come on, backwards. And that frees up cash and provides cheap money for investing, which leads to growth. So when we're having, and they call that quantitative easing, and they're trying to ease the pressure on the markets or ease on the cash. So when they're buying all this stuff, we're seeing the markets, you can see how much they're adding to the total treasuries. And when that's continuing to do that, it's sort of pushing up the market. It's inflating the market with cash, because all that cash becomes available to investors and in companies for growth and everything else. Now, when they turn that around and the quantitative tightening turns off that liquidity, and cash is harder to get, and then the markets start to slowly turn down. So here's quantitative tightening, which is the first time in 2018, right after the elections, and it started to draw the markets down and make it go sideways. Now we got into another issue right around 2021, when they said, well, the markets are going sideways, and then well, right around 2020, they had the COVID thing, and then says, well, we got to, help the economy out and everything else, so we'll buy all these treasuries again. And sure enough, we had this quantitative easing, and all this treasury and all that money went in, and it just inflated. The stock market almost became bloated with all that extra liquidity, and it just didn't know what to do with it at all. So they had to start doing some tightening. Now, going backwards, when you look at in detail the tightening, the effects for tightening, back in 2008, they did tightening because they really hadn't used these tools like this before. So this is an experiment on the U.S. economy, and we were the victims of it. They did this tightening right here, even though the economy was already sort of catching up because of the collapse of the real estate. And there was a bubble back in the 2006 or whatever. So the economy wasn't going so bad, but they just started to do this tightening. And then all of a sudden, we had this great financial crisis accelerated in 2008 because of this tightening. So they finally decided, well, we got to change that around. So in around 2009, they started, pumping the money back into the economy again through the bond purchases and so forth. So this is a problem because we learned the hard way from this lesson, and that's kind of what we're worried about right now. Since the market did bottom because of COVID, and they were already doing some treasury buying, they just pumped a lot of more money into it, and it says, well, we'll do this to get out of the problem because of the shutdown from COVID, which had really hurt the economy. So sure enough, it worked, but everybody took advantage of it and says, oh, free money, let's go out and use it for this and for that. And pretty soon, everybody says, money's, don't worry about money. We do it, do everything we can do to take advantage of it. Well, next thing you know, we have high inflation. And it's not easy to put a chart on where that comes from. There's a lot of causes of inflation. But now we're having the Fed trying to deal with the inflation, and they were pumping money into the economy at the same time. They had to increase rates and deal with shutting down the extra buying, which is a quantitative tightening. Well, back in 2008, when they did the tightening, it caused the markets to really crash. Now we're doing a rate increase and tightening at the same time, and people aren't really sure what the total picture is going to be. But it's not good, and there's now people saying, Fed is really screwed up, and they're behind the 8 ball and everything else. And this chart shows through evidence when the Fed run rate's below the 2-year, it fuels economy bubbles, and when it's above the 2-year, it fuels recessions. Now we're already, getting into that, getting close to that right now, and they're talking about increasing more rates to manage the inflation. But with that and the tightening, they're worried about recession. Did I confuse everybody? Okay, here's a forecast to where we are, and using a theory from my cycles folks, where you take the high point and you draw a trend line from that to the next high point, which is a lower high, and then you go back to the most important low, and you draw a line parallel to that, and that shows a channel of where the prices can bounce between. And it shows you how since the beginning of the year, we're bouncing around inside this channel. We're looking for where the market's going to bottom. And sure enough, it hit this bottom line here in June. And we're saying, we just bounced off of that. So some people say, well, gee, the bear market's over now, we're going back up. And then it says, no. This line can continue to go down, and we can bounce off of that and come back and down, because we still have all these negative effects with the Fed tightening, with the inflation hurting businesses and everything else. So this is sort of a projection that where we were at in let's say 4,700, 4,800 of the S&P, we could go below 30. This is 3,600 right here. No, this is 3,000. We could go down into the really low rates, almost 50% from this point. And I talked about another forecast last week about how the cycles forecast is talking about the September-October time frame is when we're going to hit this bottom and then start turning around. And it also coincides with elections, the midterm elections, and coincides with a few other things. So it gives you some fuel to think about. And my biggest message is this is not a time to be buying stocks. We're not in an upturn. We're not in a bear rally. We are not in a good time. And we probably won't be in a good time until sometime next year. There may be some short-term things you can do, but I wouldn't.
We're still muted.
I wouldn't want to do that. Don, you got
No.
comments?
I want you to know, Bob, I want you to know that there's some good news on the horizon. I got an email last night from a source in New York City that said that if I had lost money in the stock market, that probably it was the broker's fault because they weren't watching my account as a fiduciary. And that if I would send them $100, they would put me on their list for similar to a class action. And the final response was well, of course, they wanted my broker number, my bank routing number, but they said, even if we don't proceed and win the lawsuit, we probably will get a settlement for each person because that would be cheaper than defending the lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll be on Easy Street pretty soon.
There you go. Well, you can also, I showed a letter that I got from Warren Buffett last week about how he's, giving all this money away because he's pledged, he's going to give 80% of his belongings to charity and everything else. And I was one of the people randomly selected for doing that. So,
Lucky for you. Whoa.
Yeah.
so I'll pass the letter on to you if you're interested.
Don't give up.
Oh, well. It's fun to talk about. It's kind of sad to see how that stuff goes. Anyhow, so this is a taste of stuff I can talk about if you guys are interested about the market and the economy. I'm not an economist, I'm an engineer, and I hate economics. Engineers love things that have good formulas. When you plug numbers in, you turn the crank and you get a number out. Economics doesn't work that way. Economics is sort of like, what is that game? You pound on this thing and another one comes up. And, I can't remember the name of the game.
Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole, yeah. It's like whack-a-mole. You push one thing and something else happens, and you go chase that one and something else happens. There's no easy solution to those things. Yeah. So, but if you're interested, let me know. If you're not, some people have asked about, if they want to have a club meeting again, and I'm not sure that it's easy stuff to talk about anymore. So, because most of them are, like most of the gurus are losing money right now. One of the key things that has happened over the last 5 to 10 years is what they call private equity, and it's people buying into companies that invest. It's not like I won't call it a fund, but you buy into these equities and you own the stock of companies that are not traded, but they're done through this private exchange. So there's no daily quotes, and it doesn't go up and down like this because other people are not participating in it. And when you put your money in, you're probably lucky to see if you get a valuation every 3 to 6 months. And it's taken 20 or 30% of the market, so people can put their money aside in terms of long-term things. And those guys are doing pretty good because they're not trading, and therefore the value is still very close to where they bought in or higher. It's not being depressed. So, all righty. So let's see. That's awfully serious business. So let's see if we can try to do something a little more fun here. Here we go. Where we go. So I shall try to show you some of the things I've collected this last week. For instance, this is a good one. This is the best license plate I've ever seen. So you can see on the back of a Volkswagen. Ooh, a bug.
A bug.
You understand? You catch that? Okay. It's an old joke. Anyhow. Okay, when you leave Minnesota in the spring to visit your family down south, they can see where you came from.
She's white.
And this is one I totally agree with. The reason people say vinyl sounds better because the music was better. Telling a woman to calm down works about as well as baptizing a cat. I haven't tried baptizing my cat. Let's see. So let me get this straight. I go to the grocery store and buy a pound of sliced ham, wrap it in plastic, a loaf of bread in a plastic bag, a gallon of milk in a plastic jug, a pack of napkins wrapped in plastic, a Greek salad in a plastic container, a plastic bottle of mustard, and a plastic bottle of ketchup. And they won't give me a plastic bag to carry it home because the plastic bag is bad for my environment, the environment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
The lobbyists set that up.
yeah, well, sounds like we got a little work to do there. A man tells a rabbi, I have a strong desire to live forever. What can I do? Get married, replies the rabbi, and will I live forever? No, but your desire will disappear.
Oh.
No.
All right. My wife got stung by a bee on the forehead. She's in the ER now. Her face is all swollen and bruised. She almost died. Luckily, I was close enough to hit the bee with my shovel.
Oh.
All righty. Now here's a nice couple.
You drink that much.
I need to buy a shirt like that.
According to a statistic, 1 out of 4 men is happy. He's got the cooler. After being married for 30 years, a wife asked her husband to describe her. He looked at her for a while and said, "You're an alphabetic wife. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K." She asked, "What the hell does that mean?" Adorable, beautiful, cute, delightful, elegant, fabulous, gorgeous, and hot. She smiled and says, but what about the IJK? He says, "I'm just kidding." Memorial services will be held Tuesday.
Bob, may I make a late announcement?
Sure.
You probably all saw that survey that went out. And it was, we had 38 respondents. And of those, 29 were interested in a computer class. There were a few who were not interested. But for Zoom, it was like half and half. But I think it's because some people have tried it and been on it only as a participant. But there's still room for possible Zoom class as well. So that went on, and so we're moving in the direction of putting on classes. Also, the Demco DVD browsing chest came in today, and it's all put together, and Terry filled it with all of our DVDs. It took 500 DVDs to fill it. It said 625, which means to me that it was probably an old piece of equipment that other libraries have bought, and something's different about the way DVDs are sent out, and the case or something. I'm going to complain about it because they told us it would hold 625 DVDs, and they'll only hold about 500 instead. So we're not happy about that, but still, it's something we could say about it.
Sure.
Still, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of equipment, a beautiful piece of furniture in there.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm gonna quit on those other little funnies. They're only so, and I'm not sure where it was.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I'm
no
sure I'm late.
problem.
I couldn't get here sooner, though.
No. Let's see. Let's see if I try to go back to this thing a little bit. Okay, so when a woman says what, it's not because she didn't hear you. She's giving you a chance to change what you said. Boy, these are nasty. I married my wife for her looks, not the ones she gives me lately. And, Dad, I got a part in a school play. I'm playing a man who's been married for 25 years. Maybe next time you'll get a speaking part. My life hasn't been the same since my accident. What accident? The one where I got my finger stuck in that wedding ring. Oh boy. And this is a cute one. You're supposed to, and he's a wedding, you're supposed to say, I do, not I'll try.
Mhm.
What does it mean if the holy water sizzles when it hits your skin? Asking for a friend, of course. Here's the old Sly Fox. We didn't need to be told, don't try this at home when we were kids, because we weren't freaking idiots. A pessimist seeks a dark tunnel. An optimist seeks a light at the end of the tunnel. A realist sees a freight train. The train driver sees 3 idiots standing on the tracks. And his little cat saying, I cleaned under your bed for you. You're welcome. He's got cobwebs all over his face. There's a surgeon saying, relax, David. It's just small surgery. Don't panic. My name's not David. I know, I'm David. So, yeah. And here we go. Thanksgiving on a budget. Spam. Shaped like a turkey. I have some relatives back east in the Massachusetts area, and they love Spam. They go to Spam carving contests. They have all these Spam treats and decorations and everything else, and it's just a regular thing for them. So they says, why are people making fun of it? So I don't know. My kids say want a cat for Christmas. Normally I do a turkey, but hey, if it'll make them happy. Now this is a cute one. I think Bill sent this to me. John's weather forecast. And it's got this rock out in front here. It says, when the stone is wet, it's raining. Stone is dry, it's not raining. There's a shadow on the ground, it's sunny. If it's white on the top, it's snowing. You can't see it, it's foggy. If it's swinging by around, it's windy. If it's jumping up and down, it's an earthquake. And if it's gone, must be a tornado. So there we go. Now I'm gonna do some of the music clips to give you a sample of this concert I went to from when I went on Father's Day, and it's let's see where I got this thing now. Gotta find my stuff here. I guess I don't want that. I want. Oops, that's wrong. Wrong. This is a story of the Angel City Chorale is a nonprofit organization in Los Angeles, and it's been around for a few years. And my daughter got to know the lady who runs it, and so we started going to their concerts, and it's a huge group. And I sort of fell in love with it, but it's it's too far away for me to participate because they rehearse on Wednesday nights in Venice. And that's a long commute for me, so I couldn't. But then I realized the talent that they have is unbelievable. So I figured, well, I better just enjoy it being a participant. I mean, enjoy it while I can. So I'm going to try to give you a little. Now, where is this thing start? A little introduction about what this is all about. This concert was a very unique one because instead of doing a program about romance of the songs or something, they were talking about songs from the entire world and how listening to music brings people together and the promise of living. So let me share this with you. The name of the program is called Roots. And I will put this on the YouTube. I mean, I'll put this on the Village News so you can get to it easily. But it's actually on YouTube, and I'm playing it from YouTube right now. And it's, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe just let you listen to it.
Okay, Tokyo, South America, Australia, France, Germany, UK, Africa. They're dancing in Chicago, down in New Orleans, in New York City. Oh, you need music, sweet music.
I'm sorry, this is the wrong video. I don't know how I got this one. Let me back up. This is it. So let me go back here. Well, that was interesting, but it wasn't what I was looking for. This is called The Promise of Living.
My ancestors came to the New World on the Mayflower.
My relatives walked 1,300 miles across the plains pulling a handcart.
My parents fled China after the brutal communist takeover.
In World War II, my Japanese grandparents were sent to an internment camp. My father joined the army.
My cousin was one of the first to integrate a school in Arkansas.
At 13, my father left Hungary and entered the United States at Ellis Island.
I'm going to stop this right now because I have to go back because I didn't set up my share properly. And I wanted to say, one of the things that I didn't mention was they added the multimedia, and they also added a bunch of dancers to this this thing now. So now it's quite a bit of difference to the program. What happened to my thing? Okay, and I'm going to jump from here to another program because we're running out of time. I'm going to jump to a story, a song from India. They're singing in some native language. And let's see. Where the start is right around, right around this point.
With Serlina Matthew, Mallory Mapp, and Carol Shee.
Wish that I could be back in my homeland. Singing, tick-tick-ta-da, tick-tick-tay, tick-tay, tick-tay, don't. Show me the road and I'll be right there. I'll do anything to feel the wind in my hair. I'll go far as it takes and I don't even care. I'll sing tick-tick-ta-da, tick-tick-tay, tick-tay, tick-tay, don't. Kutter naadin punjeyille tick-tay, tick-tay, don't.
Okay, I'm going to jump to another section. This is in the Philippines, and they're doing everything in the native languages. And this goes into where they're doing a lot of dancing with the bamboo. You can see more of this when I guess you're just going to do another little sample where they're talking about back in the United States, where they're doing some folk music, and let's see, where is that? 30.
Some bright morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, fly away. Oh, I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away, when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away, like a bird from these prison walls. I'll fly away.
Anyhow, that's a wonderful program, and there's way too much to give you right now, but I'm going to make it available so you can jump. I have this little timeline where you can show where you can jump to in the thing, because the whole program runs for an hour and 45 minutes, and it's so many contrasts in the different kinds of music, and it's just lovely to hear. So hopefully get to that. Well, we got to get going, so I'm going to finish off with my my puns. I got to go do the puns today. So we can't leave you without a smile on your face. So let's see. Here we go.
You heard me anyway.
There we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Here we go. Whoop, what did happen? I hit the wrong button. It didn't work. Okay. One of these days, going to have one of you guys do this and see if you can handle all these buttons that you manage. Okay, what did a queen bee do when she burps?
Oh,
Well, she issues a royal pardon. Okay. What did the soccer mom decide? Why did the soccer mom decide to play soccer in her spare time?
To kick the ball.
Just for kicks. Yeah, right. Yeah. I was just reminiscing about the beautiful herb garden I had when I was growing up. And the comment is, good times. What did the pecan say to the walnut?
You're nuts.
No, we're friends because we are nuts. Okay. Why was a golfer also good at Formula One? Because he had a strong driver. Think about it. Yeah, driver, you know. All righty. What do you call a happy lassie? A jolly collie. Okay. What did the Doritos say to his son? You're a chip off the old block. Why do bees buzz? because they can't whistle. How does the moon cut her hair? Eclipse it. Which would mean that the moon is a man? Yeah, whatever. What sound does a witch's car make? Zoom, broom, 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 broom. What's the difference between a guitar and a fish? All musicians know this one. You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. All righty, we're losing everybody here. That was it. Okay, guys. Well, hope you had a good day, and we will get ready for the happy hour over there and see what's on the dinner menu tonight. So,
Okay, thanks, Bob.
any last minute comments? Okay, bye-bye.